Most people underestimate what it actually costs to live here in Colorado Springs. Today, we're going to take a deep dive and look at what it actually costs to live here in the Springs. We're about to get real because we're Colorado's finest. All right, so today we're going to talk about what the actual cost is to live here in Colorado Springs and what you can get for about $4,000 a month. We do this all the time with clients, and we kind of want to break it down and kind of look at what it actually costs to live here in the Springs and what you can get for housing here specifically. And then after that, we are going to look at like daycare costs, utilities, property taxes, all the other fun stuff that we're going to talk about, and some hidden gems that I want you to know about before you move here. And then at the end, we're going to kind of look at some houses that would be in that $4,000 budget. So if it's a little bit less, you can kind of dial that down a little bit. If you were like, I can only afford $3,500 a month. If you have $5,000 a month to play with, and we can kind of get you in contact. We have an amazing local lender here that we absolutely love. And he is really good at dialing in with you on your specific situation and figuring that out. But I'm going to run some scenarios with you and kind of look at what it actually costs to live here in the spring. So let's get going. All right, for this first part, I'm going to actually take you onto my computer and kind of give you a mortgage calculator and run some different scenarios with you to see actually how much home you can afford for that $4,000 a month budget. A lot of that depends upon the type of loan, your credit score, how much money you have down, and various other factors that we're going to talk about. So let's dive right in. And so our first scenario is you are a conventional loan with 20% down. And obviously interest rates are going to vary a lot, especially as we go into 2026. It's already February. So what does it look like as hopefully interest rates start going down a little bit? We're already kind of seeing that here. We're kind of seeing the market pick back up. But if you call us or you're talking to our lender, which I always want to say that I always am going to give you to our expert lending team. You can use whatever lender you want when you reach out to us, but they are the ones who really know these numbers inside and out. I'm just running some general situations with you guys so we can kind of talk about how we approach this with clients a little bit here when they do reach out. So again, we're going on the assumption is you are wanting about $4,000 a month to be set aside for your mortgage payments. And when we talk about that, that also includes your property taxes, usually your PMI, which is your principal payment, your insurances that go along with that, and your taxes. So let's just kind of take a look at that in a nutshell. So if you are having a conventional loan, 20% down, and we're going to go with like a 5.8% interest rate. So I'm kind of seeing some of that right now. Sometimes we can get some seller concessions in there to buy that rate down. And we'll talk about new builds here in a little bit as well. So if you have $750,000 budget and you have 20% down, and we're going to go with the 5.8 interest rate, okay? And then I kind of have some of this going down here. Your property taxes per month are about $356, and you're not with an HOA. Some other various factors obviously can affect this. So if we go with that and we run this update, you are right around the $4,000 mark for your monthly payment, right? So we're going to shop around that budget. We don't want you to be house poor when you reach out to us. So that kind of puts you in there. Obviously your credit score, HOAs, and we're going to look at new builds in a minute, which can affect that. Usually our property taxes here in Colorado Springs are around 0.4, unless we talk about those new builds. So we're going to look at that here in a minute as well. So that's your first scenario. If you are a conventional loan, 20% down, we're going to be shopping around $750,000. Okay, let's go to option number 2. Let's say you're a conventional loan, you're selling a property back wherever you're living. So you're contingent upon the sale of that house. So we're going to put down 40%. All right, so let's hop back on and run over that scenario here. All right, so for this scenario, you are actually going to put 40% down. We're going to keep the interest rates around the 5.8 just for now, and we're going to update this. So you can see with 40% down, you're only at $3,000 a month. So you have more to play with. So you're probably, just from working our clients quite a bit, as far as it goes, you're probably going to be around $1 million, and we'll look at what that can get you as well. Let's see. Oh, it switched to 20%. I was like, wait a minute. So here you're $4,000 a month. So for a little under, you have a little extra money to play with each month. Maybe we can get some money to buy down the interest rate, which really are impacting our buyers' monthly payment as well. So you're around $1 million. A lot of our clients are VA loans here. So when you guys reach out and you are, military, a lot of times you come with that VA eligibility, and we can work with that here. We have our lender works that as well, and we do a ton of VA loans. So a VA loan, what the nice thing about a VA loan is that you have 0% down. So a lot of people love to take advantage of that, keep their cash in their back pocket, and have that 0% down when they purchase the home here in Colorado Springs. So if you are a VA loan and you're buying, we're going to stay at like 5.6 interest rate. Let's look at how much house you can afford here. All right, same scenario. We're going to say you're a VA loan. VA loans sometimes have a little bit lower interest rate depending upon where we're at in the market. So let's go. You're not putting any money down, right? So this is going to affect your monthly payment. You're going to keep that money in your back pocket, but you might have a little less home to purchase because we're changing this to 0. So you have the $650,000 of a home, 0% down. We're always sticking with a 30-year fixed, and then 5.6. And we are going to update this, and you can see you're a little over. So we're going to be shopping between probably $600,000 and $650,000, depending upon rates and a lot of various other factors, like I noted before. So don't say like credit scores, all your debt to income ratio, all this affects this, right? So that's why the first thing you're going to do is reach out to us, and we'll start having that conversation with you and our lender to figure out what you're comfortable with on monthly payment. So that in this situation, we are going to be shopping for, again, that $650,000 price point. And again, stick with us. We're going to look at what that gets you here in the Colorado Springs Monument area. All right, so now we are going to talk about that VA. And let's just say you're going with a new build. I want to address new builds for a couple reasons. One is with new builds, there's usually always an HOA that's associated with it, which is pretty common in a lot of our areas here, some more than others. But a new build is going to have a lower interest rate usually right now. We can buy down that interest rate. They give you a big chunk of money to do so, or you can just take sometimes, like they are offering a 4% interest rate on some of the builders that we work with, and you can take advantage of that low interest rate, right? Everyone wants that in this market. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like. However, with new builds, whether you are doing a conventional loan or you're doing a VA loan or whatever loan you're doing, most new build areas are going to carry a higher property tax rate. So the nice thing about Colorado Springs is we have a lower property tax rate than most places in the country, around 0.4. When you go to those new build areas, you're closer to 0.8, 0.9. So when you see the property taxes on the MLS or on Zillow, you actually are seeing what is the construction loan. So just the property taxes for that land. So it gets kind of deceiving when you're looking at that. So you get a lower interest rate, but you're in a new build area. And so you're going to have a little bit higher property taxes that go along with that. So let's take a look at that situation. If it's your first time to our channel, I'm Lloyd Erickson. My business partner, Kayleen Zabadik, is actually out showing houses right now in Wolf Ranch. To someone who moved here, they actually are renting for a year, and then now they're looking to purchase. They love it. So they're looking over in the Wolf Ranch area. They really zoned into that area of town. Anyways, if you're moving here or thinking of moving here, make sure to reach out. Give us a call or text anytime. We'd love to help you make the move. All right, so you are going to buy. Again, we're shooting for $4,000 a month, right? So you probably around $750,000. I'll show you why. And again, we're doing VA for this situation. You're putting 0 down. You could run it. We can run it again for conventional as well. But lovely interest rate of 4%. Sometimes look 3.99, however you want to phrase that, right? I did always build into some of these. Your homeowner's insurance per month is usually a little bit more than this. Property taxes, right? So if we are actually looking at $750,000, your property taxes are going to be a little bit more than this. You're probably going to be closer to $500 to $600. We'll just put it in $550 for now, and we'll rerun that. So you're a little over at $750. So you can afford a little bit more house, maybe closer to $750 rather than that $650 we talked about. But some of that will be taken up by those property taxes that you are encountering when you are, oh, you can't see me. So some of those will be taken into effect, or you can afford more house. However, some of that where you think you can afford a lot more is taken up because of that interest rate or because that property tax rate is higher. So just something to think about when you're purchasing a home. We're going to take a look at what all those situations can get you. So if you are looking at $1,750,000 or $650,000 here in the Colorado Springs area, what does that get you in a home here? So we're going to look at that here in a second. But for a minute, I want to talk about other expenses, because remember, we're talking about most people move here and they're not expecting some of these expenses. So what does the actually cost to live here? And I want to kind of show you some examples. So one of them is a lot of our clients might work from home. They may not. They may have kiddos. And so how much is daycare here? So we're going to hop over here. And I recently had someone ask us, we run the Colorado Springs What's Going On Facebook group, and someone did. They were moving here and they wanted to know how much it costs. And so you can see here, people were chiming in from everywhere, had a lot of different opinions for this poor lady, but averaging about $400 a week for infants. So you're talking about $1,600 a month for childcare here. Obviously, it depends upon the facility, in-home, at a center, age of the child, but most time people were saying between $350 and $400 a week for that infant daycare here in the Colorado Springs area. So that's something just to think about. Utilities, now they can range, right, on the size of your home, where you live in town. I think it's pretty safe to say that if you are moving here, you can budget around $400 to $500 a month. When I'm talking about utilities, I'm talking about your water, wastewater is included in that, your gas, and your electric. Usually, it's called Colorado Springs Utilities, and it's run all through one company. I live up in Monument. It's run through like different companies at this point, but I still am seeing around that $400 to $500 a month, depending upon the time of year. I found in the summer, I use more water because I'm watering my grass. We have to water our grass here. We're very dry. And in the winter, I'm using more of it for the heat, right? For the furnace that's running because it's cold here. So I would say about $400 to $500 a month, depending upon how long your kids shower and how much water you use, how cold you like your house in the summer. You'll be in that area, just depending. It might be more if you like some more of your AC running all the time. Groceries. Now, again, that varies. You can ask us on our Facebook group. People do all the time. How much you spend for groceries? Everyone's like, the coupon clippers spend for a family of four, $600. I don't know how they do it, but they do. All the way up to like $1,600 a month. I would say an average of family of four here in Colorado Springs is probably pretty average anywhere in the country. When I travel, I don't go to other places and think, gosh, these groceries are much cheaper. I would plan around $1,100 a month, just like kind of an average thing to think about, depending on how much you eat out, how much you do coupon clip, you might make your Costco runs, etc. for something like that. We did talk about property taxes. I'm going to show you a couple things with that as well. So let's hop over back to my computer. All right, a couple other factors I want you to look at before we get to the housing piece and to see what you can get. So let's hop on back over to my computer here. And so Colorado Department of Revenue, if you go to El Paso County, that's what Colorado Springs is in. Each county is going to be a little different based on their fees that they have associated with it. So I specifically look at the El Paso County. So if you want to look at what it's going to cost you to register your car here, that's what people always ask. You can get an estimate of it. So if you just have a passenger car, your vehicle is, sorry about that, is 2025. You just bought it. You have a hybrid Toyota 4, which is about 4,000 pounds, and average MSRP, let's say, is 47. It's always more than it is that you purchase it for. And let's say you just purchased it and you're registering it also on the same week. Calculate. So you can see here, you're going to be about $665 for your registration fees on that vehicle. So if it's an older vehicle, if it's a heavier vehicle, but you can jump in here and find out what it's going to cost you to register your vehicle here for a year in the Colorado Springs area. So just something to think about when you are moving here. A couple of the things that are kind of interesting to think about. When I was here, I love the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. If you have a family, it's great. You can go there as many times as you want. I took my kids all the time when they were little, and we would just go for an hour or two, $219. That's something to think about. People love that. Epic Pass, if you are a skier here, that is something they're done selling them this year, but if you want to take advantage of the being here and going up to Breckenridge and Vail, it's like 29 different resorts. Let's see, most of them, the ones in Colorado Springs, are going to be Vail, Breckenridge, Beaver Creek, Crest of Butte, Telluride, Keystone, and they are about, I think they're like $720 for an adult and 400 and something, I wrote it down, $783 for an adult, $407 for a child. So that is something, if you do want to go skiing, you're like, hey, I'm moving here to take advantage of those outdoors. Skiing can be very expensive. Epic Pass does help. if you have your own skis, you know, that kind of lets you know, hey, I'm going to ski these areas. This is what's going to cost me, you know, minus transportation and feeding your kiddos and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing to look at. A couple other things to look at, if property taxes, you can put in, you know, zip code. If you're like, hey, Lori, I know I want to, I forget to always add myself back in, you know, I want to move to Wolf Ranch, and we can look at the property taxes there. Or like which is a new build area versus an existing. Again, average is around 0.41 if you're not in those new build areas. So you can put in zip code, how much your price of your home is, and you can kind of get an average of what that looks like. I'm just on Smart Assets and taking a look at the property taxes. If you reach out to us, we can always tell you pretty specifically based on each home what it's going to be like, unless it's assessed and it goes up again over the next couple of years. So let's look at houses now. I want to show you a couple things about those specific houses. So I think people are always surprised at what they're going to get for different houses here. This is our website, Colorado's Finest Agency. We just built it last year. It's been amazing. You can search by neighborhood. So if you like want Woodmore, you can search by Black Forest, Flying Horse, all these neighborhoods in Colorado Springs are here, and you can zone in by school districts. By going up here, you can search homes by zip code, by schools, by new construction, home on acreage, luxury homes. So use our website. We spend a lot of time on it, and it's hopefully a good tool for you and our clients as they consider moving to the area. All right, I told you in the beginning that we were going to first look at housing, what you can get for your $4,000 a month, then some specific logistics of actual details of living here in Colorado Springs and that cost of living. And now we're going to look at like particular homes where you can get for that $4,000, just to give you an idea. And again, it's going to vary by area, finishes, all that kind of stuff. So, but I kind of want to give you an idea while we are diving in here. So let's hop on over to my screen. So as I look at my screen here, I can see that if I want, I'm just going to search for that first price point we talked about is 750. So we're going to go 700,000 to 800. We're kind of in there. We want a single family home, and let's take a look at some of these results here. So if I want to go to the map area, and I can show you some homes that you could possibly get. A lot of our clients, let's just look at the northern section here in Colorado Springs to give you an idea of what that looks like here. Let's see. There we go. I was like, why isn't it turning on? So this is Briargate in the northern section. This is that Wolf Ranch area we talked about. And then you can see where $700,000 homes are located. Sometimes this area tends to be a little bit more affordable if you're moving here. So let's just take a look at a couple of these just so you can see just some different home types here in Colorado Springs. This is on Wolf Lake Drive. It's Highline at Wolf Ranch. Again, a ranch, 3-car garage. And then if we go to the next one here, I think I can just go from here, maybe not here. You can see another style homes. This is in Percheron, a neighborhood that's a little bit east of Wolf Ranch. And here's obviously a new build that you can get in that area. If I go back to my map and we switch to another area, let's say you guys want the west side, probably a little bit older homes on the west side. And again, if you don't like the green, we can help you get rid of the green. We have a lot of people who we help a lot. We use different contractors, and depending on what type of trade you're looking for, we have a lot of people in our back pocket to help you guys with that. But I mean, it's a very different lifestyle, right? Very different home types. So for $750, brand new build out east in Percheron, or we're talking about living basically that Colorado life in the trees. Maybe we'll help you paint. And let's look at the inside of this. You can see the outside is what's going to sell this house. But you know, great base, probably like more like that tri-level style home. Probably want some updates as you go, but you're not going to have that setting anywhere else. And so, you know, you're picking and choosing what you pay for that $750. So that's the $750 price point. Now we're going to go back and we're going to kind of redo this criteria, and we're going to lower it a bit. We'll go back up to that million price point in a minute, but let's say you're 600 to 650. Same thing. We're going to go back to that map, and we are going to zone in here. So you can see a big chunk now is a little bit more further south, that 650 price point. Here You can get anything from this little Gold Hill Mesa, one of these taller homes. You can pull it up here and you can see that's down south. Or we can go back and we're going to go to Stetson Hills, a little bit older home, I'm assuming, probably from the 2015, a little rancher here. District 49. Or, you know, you can go, you know, there's also options east. There's more options, again, probably south by the base here. And then Meridian Ranch. And then you have some a little bit more up north, which is going to be a little bit of these older homes, a little bit smaller up in District 20. Homes in the $650 price point. So that just gives you an idea. That's kind of something that we do when you guys do reach out. We talk to you about, you know, our school is important, our area is important, where are you working, what do you want in a home? Do you not want a new build? Do you not want an HOA? Do you want more of that west side living? The thing about Colorado Springs that's interesting is as we're growing, Kaylee and I, my business partner, are seeing a lot of different styles of living in the same city. So you talk about moving to Colorado Springs, but it's very different in different pockets throughout the city. So it's something we help you guys do is really narrow in on that and focus in on, you know, what it is you want for your home for that price point and lifestyle. All right, so the last thing we're going to look at here is, you know, let's say you had that conventional loan 40% down and you had, we'll just say 950 to whatever, a little over $1 million. And we're going to go back to our map here and we are going to zone in on homes that are available in that $1 million price point. So you can see there are more up north here, right? There's a big, and then you're going to have some out west a little bit on some of these bluffs that you can zone in on here too. So this is kind of more of a classic home, probably a larger home. In the Pine Creek subdivision, I think we're at, how many square feet are we at here? Yeah, 4,400 square feet, larger lot. That's in Pine Creek area. If I go back here and I go up here more north for, let's just look in Monument here. This is what you can get for almost $1 million. So you're going to trade off, like these are bigger homes. We might need some landscaping. You know, you have that grand home built probably a little bit older, 1995, but you're going to have that space, that location that you want. If you're going to go back down here, if we zone into, you know, maybe more of this area here and you want a little bit newer home, this is Cordera. I think I've actually seen this home inside of it. Yeah, so you can see what you get, a little bit newer finishes, but you're not going to have that larger lot that we talked about or that we saw in that last house. So it really just kind of depends upon what you're looking for in a home. It can get you a wide variety of different features that go in that home, finishes, as you start to look at that house. And so, well, we set you up in a home search is what we really start to do based on what you're looking at. And then we start to see what it is you're liking, what areas you're liking. If you guys are coming out, we set you up on a driving tour. So we really want to make sure that this is like your dream home here in Colorado. It's what we do. Check out, we have 5-star Google reviews. Kaylee and I love what we do. We used to work in the schools. Seems like a long time ago now, but we used to work in the schools, absolutely loved it. And so we know our schools pretty well inside and out. We each have 3 kids, and we just love what we do here. We love our city. So if you are thinking of making the move here, make sure to put our numbers into your phone. Give us a call or text anytime. We would love to help you make the move.